Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about this Medford Proxima, and this is in S35. And compared to some of the other Medfords that I have tested or had in to check out, the detent on this one is awesome, and the whole action altogether is pretty nice. So that's worth noting. I've had a couple in that the action was not very good, so it's pretty cool that this one works well. So S35VN, haven't tested any Medford S35 yet, so I was curious how this would do. Did testing on this one. It had already been used, so no factory edge, and I didn't do the first edge. I just went ahead and sharpened it like normal for testing. So we're going to get through the testing, talk about how it sharpened, talk about how it did, and there's a couple other things that we're going to talk about with this. So we'll go ahead and get that cutting out of the way, and then come back and get to all the stuff you guys want to hear. Alright, now that we got that cutting portion out of the way, go ahead and talk about this. So, like I said, this came to me on the factory edge still, and as you can see, the bevel is a good bit wider now. This is at 17 degrees per side, and the factory secondary bevel on this was almost 22 degrees. It's why when you saw it on video the first time, I believe, can't remember if I'd sharpened it by then. Either way, the bevel was pretty thin to begin with. So it is now, that's 17 degrees per side, and it is right about 21 thousandths behind the edge. It's a hollow grind. It cuts decent. So before we get to the testing though, since this is part of the sharpening, I'll just go ahead and cover this right now. So not only does the sharpening choil there not make it out of the plunge grind, I know you guys can see that. That's not a sharpening error. That is how that secondary bevel looks. And you flip it over, you can see it's funny on this side too. Now, if they'd extended this some more, would have made a huge difference, because it is quite thick back here. right by where they terminated it compared to the rest of the edge. Also, if you take a look on the lock side here, as you get toward the tip, the bevel actually gets thinner, and it appears when you look at it that it is ground a little bit more on this side than it is on this side. Figured I'd note that. I'm sure someone would see it. I saw it. Not happy with it. Wasn't in the section that we cut to do the test with, but I figured it was worth noting when the price of this knife is close to $600 or so. So, although we got that out of the way, it sharpened up fine. No big burrs, really easy to deburr, had no problems with it. Felt like pretty much any other S35VN. Wasn't anything that stuck out that would alarm me. Is it going to do good, bad, indifferent? It was like sharpening an S35. So how did it test? On the third edge, which was the first test, 114 feet fine edge, 58 feet working edge, for a total of 172 feet. Sharpened it up the same way, 17 degrees per side, up to 1500 grit, and stropped 631 micron. Ran the verification test. On that test, 115 feet fine edge, 61 feet working edge, for a total of 176 feet. So how does this compare to other S35? Just going off memory, all the large volume production S35 I've tested, this did more total cutting than all of those. My Demco at 17 degrees per side cut just over 200 feet. And I know Steve and I understand it's 15 degrees per side, so there could be a little left in this. I don't know. He got up into the 220 foot range with his CRK 25, I believe it was. So better than most of the production stuff you're going to get. Sure, it could still be a little bit better, but it's not bad for S35. Like I already said in the beginning, the action on this is pretty good. The pocket clip works pretty well, even though that ramp looks funny. It goes in and out of your pocket super easy. The action's pretty good. It was not uncomfortable to cut with. The only thing I didn't like is, as you guys know, I do a lot of cutting like this. This part of the handle here kind of digs into my palm. Otherwise, not too bad. So overall, it did pretty good for S35. Would have loved to see the grind be a little bit better than what it actually is. Definitely not too happy with that. But now we have at least one data point. Sorry guys, I got little bugs flying around my face. Have at least one data point now of Medford S35. And I believe I have some old footage from the first Medford I ever tested. I might go ahead and put that together and put that one out also. That was in D2, however. So, not a comparison, but another Medford nonetheless. So, if you guys have any experience with Medford S35, how was it? I'd love to know. It's the only S35VN Medford I've ever used. All the others have been D2. Love to hear that. Any questions, comments, or anything else, put them down below. Like I've said the past few videos, I'll try to answer comments as I can, and as many as I can. That's all I have for this one. As always, I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.